Hey folks, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Out and about on another bike review on a lovely day, if a little bit chilly. And today, I'm on something a little bit different from my normal ride, because I'm riding a 125cc machine. This is the Suzuki GSX S125. The 2021 model, it's been around for a while, but got some new colours and things for this year. And this is my first ride on the bike, so stick around and stay tuned. If you're interested in this size bike, I'll let you know what I think. Okay, so I love 125s. I've done reviews on other 125s on the channel before. What I love about them is the fact that you can use absolutely all of the engine they've got to spare, all of the power that they have, you can use without going at ridiculous speeds. But of course, that's all very well for me as an experienced motorcycle rider who's used to riding litre bikes and so on to say. These bikes aren't aimed at me, they're aimed predominantly at new riders, people that are learning to ride. And that's why I've got this bike. This is actually the bike that Mrs. Fly is going to be learning to ride on. She's expressed an interest to ride. She's done a CVT. You may have seen the video on that. I'll put a link in the corner if you haven't. And now we've got hold of this bike for her to get some miles under her belt, as it were, and learn how to ride properly. And she may then go on to do a test, and if she does, I'll keep you appraised. Anyway, let me tell you about this bike and why I went for this one. So this bike, number one, it looks cool. It's got a great new colour scheme, which I'll show you in a minute when we do the walk around. But in terms of the way it rides, I'll go through all the usual things that I do on these first ride reviews. So comfort, what's the riding position like? Well, I am sat upright, my legs are tucked up quite tight actually, but nice and comfy. Handlebars feel sort of not too narrow, not too wide, and the overwhelming thing for me is the bike just feels really lightweight. Feels like riding a bicycle with an engine on, which pretty much is what it is. It weighs something like 133 kilograms, ready to ride. Again, I'll go through the detailed specs in a minute, but that is a lightweight motorcycle. As you can see, when I stopped here, my feet are flat on the deck either side, and that is because this bike has the lowest seat height in its class, something like 875 millimeters seat height on here. And that was something that was really important to us. We'd tried lots of 125s, lots of bikes that we quite fancied, but unfortunately they were all too tall for Mrs. Fly. This one, however, is perfect. She can get her feet flat on the deck, or certainly on the balls of her feet. She doesn't feel uncomfortable, so that's fine. So seat height is good, and the seat itself quite hard but not uncomfortable. You've got plenty of room to move around. I think you know, I'm 5'8", so medium-sized fella. I don't feel cramped at all on it. If you were 6'4", you might do, but for normal sized people, absolutely fine. So comfort wise, ticks all the boxes. Just going to try the brakes now, nothing behind me. Front brake is really good actually. Just try the back brake. Back brake's not bad either. Is a single cylinder engine, 124.4cc, something like that. Puts out can't remember what the horsepower figures are, something like I don't know, I'll come to that when we do the walk around. Right, let's wind her up. I'm in 4th gear, look, 5th gear, and I'm doing 55 in 5th, and I can go into 6th, cruise along all day long at these sorts of speeds. The engine doesn't feel like it's under particular stress. And I'm doing, look, 57 miles an hour, keeping up with the traffic, absolutely no trouble at all. I guess if you're a very weighty person, that might not be quite so good, but I'm 11 stone, again, average sort of height and weight, absolutely fine for me. So no problem with the speed either. Not sure I want to be on a motorway, but of course you can't go on a motorway with a 125, so that's neither here nor there. So yeah, fine as go is concerned. In fact, I think Suzuki claim this is the fastest accelerating 125. But again, all these things are relative. It's not going to win any races, this bike, unless it's a race against donkeys. Don't get me wrong, I love these little 125s. It's so light and flickable through here, and it's perfectly fast enough when you're learning to ride, believe you me. Handles really nicely. Very basic bike, no riding modes, nothing like that, no fancy adjustable suspension. But the suspension does feel nice. This is a bumpy old road. and it feels absolutely fine. The clutch is nice and light. Confidence inspiring on the bends as well. You can sort of lean her over nicely. And the single cylinder thumper sounds quite nice, and very little by way of vibration as well. Much better than some of the other bikes I've ridden. Now, a lot of the other 125s I've ridden are basically Chinese 125s, which are absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with them. They have a place. They're significantly cheaper than the bikes from the main brands like this one. This bike comes in at around about 4 grand. You can probably get a Chinese equivalent for 25% less. But what I have to say is this just feels like a quality machine in comparison. There's nothing about this, when you look at it, you know, I ride all sorts of exotic bikes. This looks beautiful. In terms of its build quality, it's all there. It's just a bit smaller. The switch gear is nice and positive. I love the dash on here. It's got one of those reverse LCD dashes. Got everything you need. Gear position indicator, proper fuel gauge. Nice and clear to read. And yeah, it's proper fun to ride this. It really is. I like it. Okay, what about the mirrors on here? Well, they're pretty good as well. They're not too stalky. Don't dislike the look of them. I can see behind me. Okay, I'm looking at my shoulders a little bit, but I have got a good view behind. They're nice and big, and they're not vibrating at all. Again, some single cylinder bikes that you get on, the mirrors can be a bit vibrative. These not at all. So far I really can't see anything not to like about this bike, and I'm not just saying it because it's, you know, R125, but the reason we got it is I do think it's a great bike. Frugal as anything as well. You'll get about 120 miles to the gallon at least out of it. So if you're not a learner and you just want cheap transport, if you're in town or something, you want a commuter, definitely worth considering as well. Very easy to live with, I imagine. I say I imagine. I will be bringing you some more videos on this bike, of course, as we get to know it. It won't be anything too soon because I'm going to be using it for a long time. But in maybe 6 months I'll bring you a sort of a living with review. Let you know how we've been getting on with it after 6 months of use. Actually, the acceleration on here isn't bad at all. Nice and smooth in the gear changes. And in fact, this is the 30 limit, so I'm going to have to slow down a bit. Yeah, very nice. A couple of other little features I like about the bike. It's got that Suzuki Easy Start system, which is where, to start it, you just press the starter. You can literally just prod it and the bike will start. You don't have to hold the button in. Just, they do that on pretty much all Suzukis. I really like that. Don't know why, it just amuses me. Don't know why all bikes aren't like that. And it's got the little security feature on the lock as well, on the key. I'll show you that when we do the walk around. It just stops people getting at it with a screwdriver, because these bikes presumably are highly stealable in urban environments, which is a shame, but there we go. Suzuki have thought about that. Alright, I'm just coming up to Wendover up here, one of my favourite spots for walk-arounds. I'll park her up in the station and I'll talk you through the spec in the usual way. Okay, here we are then in the station car park at Wendover. There's the bike, looking splendid. Let's get the other camera going so we can give you a slightly better view. There we go, the Suzuki GSX S125. What a cracking little bike. As I say, this colour scheme, new for this year. I think the little yellow accents look absolutely brilliant. Let me just show you around the bike before I talk you through the spec. As you can see, we've got Mrs. Fly's L plates on here. Technically probably illegal for me to ride it with L plates, so sorry Mr. Plod if you're watching. But they're on that, they're kind of cable tied on. They're in a bit of a sort of semi-permanent fashion, not easy to take on and off. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, good looking little bike. Love what they've done with the graphics on the tank and so on. The little accents at the bottom. As I say, the yellow bit looks good, and the light as well has got these sort of running lights at the side, which look great. I just think they've done a nice job on styling it. It looks a little bit different. Anyway, let's talk you through the spec then. Not too much to talk about. Let's talk about the engine to start with. 124.4cc liquid cooled 4-stroke engine, puts out 14.8 brake horsepower or 15 PS at 10,000 RPM. That's 11.5 newton meters of torque at 8,000 RPM, or that's 8.5 pounds-feet if you're old school like me. The brakes on here, the front has got this single disc. Look how thin that looks. It's really good. I mean, it's a pedal disc, as you can see, 2-pot caliper, and the disc itself is a 290mm unit, and you can see the ABS ring there as well. It's got Bosch 2-channel ABS on this that works really well. I have tried, and I can't lock the wheels up. On the rear, again, it's got a tiny little pedal disc on here, but again, perfectly adequate given the weight of the bike. That's a 187mm single pot caliper there. Suspension, basic telescopic suspension on the front, as you would imagine, and the same on the back. No particular adjustment, I don't think. Let's have a look. No, the spring's hiding under there, look. But it feels fine. It's, for my size and weight, the suspension feels adjusted perfectly out of the box, as it were. The seat height on here, I mentioned it's the lowest seat height in its class. It's 785mm, nice and narrow as well, so easy to get your feet on the deck. Ideal for smaller people like my missus. And the weight on this, 133 kilograms curb weight, so yeah, really light, and that's, you know, ready to run. The fuel tank capacity on here, 11 litres, that's about 3 gallons. It's going to be super frugal, as I say, expect around about 120 miles per gallon. I think Suzuki claim 122, we'll see over time how that works out. Electronics, nothing really to speak of, just that LCD display that has a gear position indicator and fuel gauge. It does have full LED lighting. Not on the back, he says. Looking at the indicators aren't LED, but certainly the headlight is. Nothing really else from a electronics point of view. I'll show you the dash in a second. Price wise, $4,199. I think it's slightly cheaper than its main Japanese rivals, but as I mentioned, more expensive, significantly more than the Chinese versions that are around. But I think if you just look at this, as I was saying earlier, just the quality of build on this, it's in a different league to the Chinese bikes, it has to be said. I have high hopes that this is going to last really well through the winter. Anyway, we'll find out. Alright, what else to show you? Oh yeah, let's just show you those couple of things I pointed out. So this is the easy start system, where you just press that. So let me just show you, look. So there we go, we've turned on the ignition. There's that LCD display. You can see we've only done 23 miles so far on this. And to start her up, you literally just dab this, and she starts. You don't have to hold it, so that's great. And then that security feature I was telling you about is here, look, on the ignition barrel. You see here, it's got this little arrangement here that says shut. If you actually snap that, you see now the you can't get in here with like a screwdriver or something to steal the bike. If you want to actually now put the key in, you have to put this little part of the key, see if I can show you, there we go, that part sits into here, and then you press it, and then that opens up that slot. Let's see if I can do it left-handed. This could go horribly wrong. Too many keys on here. Give it a press. There you go, and now you can get the key in, and away you go. So a really nice added little security feature there. Alrighty, so that's pretty much it, I think, to tell you about the spec. Let's jump on, ride her some more. Honestly, this bike is so easy to live with. It's so light when you jump on, when you're used to such bigger bikes as I am. Stand is nice and easy to get down and up, easy to see. And I'll show you this easy start system again. Look, bring the ignition on. This is how the dash looks when you start it, and then just give it a prod, and away we go. What could be easier? Well, just while we're in the car park here, let's just see what the turning circle's like. See, let's come and stick her in a little parking spot. Right, we're in the middle of that one. On neutral, which is really easy on this. I haven't had a false neutral or any difficulty finding neutral whatsoever, which is great. Okay, there we are in the middle of this parking spot. Dead easy to lift up. Round we go. Full lock. And I'm round basically in one and a bit parking spot. So I was in the middle of that, I came round, and I'm on the edge there. Oh, and here's a chance to see the lights as well. Look, these are these little edge lights that I was talking about that I think look pretty cool. Alright, let's crack on. Some very dubious smells coming from the ne'er-do-wells that just walk by. Oh, it's getting stronger as I go this way. I'm going to float my way home. Woo, that is good stuff, man. He says I've never smoked any in my life. I'm far too good for that sort of thing. How do I know what it smells like then? Anyway, I digress. Okay, so that's my first ride on the GSX S125. What are my sort of conclusions and summary? Well, I hate having reviews on bikes where I don't come across anything that I don't like. So in that respect, I failed on this review a little bit, because there's nothing about this bike I found so far that I don't like. You know, given it's a 125, it's absolutely great. It's not, it doesn't struggle at all. I'm going uphill here, and I don't feel like I'm struggling to get power. It's certainly quick enough. It's lovely and light. It's great fun actually to flick around, just because it is so light. And also it's got that benefit that it's really accessible to shorter riders, which isn't something you can say about many bikes these days. Oh, by the way, I must just say, if you're interested in the kit that I'm wearing, stick around till after the credits and I'll do one of my now famous fashion segments, and I'll talk you through the helmet, the gloves and the kit, etc. that I'm wearing, just in case you're interested, and it'll save me answering all those comments at the end about what was that jacket you were wearing or whatever. So stay till after the credits for my fashion segment. So it's been a little while since I rode a 125. I must do them more often, because they are a lot of fun. But out of all the 125s I've ridden in the last couple of years, which has been a handful, not loads and loads, but maybe 5 or 6, this definitely ranks up there as the best one. And I'm not just saying that, that's absolutely true. As I said, those Chinese bikes have got their place, but this definitely gives you the feeling of a higher quality build. And if you're not on a really tight budget, then this is the way to go. So thumbs up from me so far, the little Suzuki GSX S125, a great bike. Interested to read your comments below as ever. And of course, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and the like button apparently helps. I don't know who knew, but hit that as well. And that way I can speak to you on the next video. Alright, I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Don't forget the fashion segment after the credits, and I'll catch you next time. Until then, this has been the Missing and Flyer. Cheerio. Okay, well, thank you for sticking around to the bitter end, and now for my infamous fashion segment. Let me get the helmet off, and I'll talk you through what I'm wearing. You'll pop that down. I think we've learned that the hard way. Okay, first thing, there's a helicopter going over, being particularly noisy. First thing, earplugs. These are from Custom Fit Guards. I wear them all the time. Let me take them out. These are called their CF Auto earplugs. They're cheap ones. They're something like £99, and if you use the code FLY10, I'll put a link below, you can actually get 10% off these. The great thing with Custom Fit Guards these days is they've come up with this home service where they actually fit them for you, so you don't have to go to an audiologist and get the moulds made and send them away and all that sort of stuff. You book up with them, they come, take the moulds, and then a few weeks later your earplugs turn up. So I recommend them to the house. I wear them all the time, and I went for orange ones because that way if you drop them you can see them on grey tarmac. Alright, so that's the earplugs. Next up, the helmet that you saw me put down. Here we go. It's my HJC Rafa 11. You've seen this before. I wear this quite a lot. I use it as a vlogging helmet. I've got 2 of these. I think they're really, really nice. This one's called their Nacre Carbon helmet. It's got, I just find the thing fits really well. It's nice and comfortable. I think it looks good as well. Great field of view. Feels like a quality helmet, but it's not really, really expensive. Pricing wise, I've written down the details. You can get one of these at the moment, $399.98 at Sports Bike Shop. I'll put a link below. As ever, the links below are with Sports Bike Shop. They're an affiliate link, so if you click on those and you buy something, I get a little bit of a kickback, but no extra cost to you, so just for full disclosure. All right, that was the helmet. What next? Yeah, let's do neck tube. This is my own from my website, www.themissinandflyer.com, the grey neck tube, £8. Go and check that out again. I'll put a link below. Next up, let's do the gloves. These are from Oxford. Can't remember what they're called. I did write them down. Yes, these are the Oxford Northolt gloves. Now these are my, when it's not super cold but it's still winter, I'm actually recording this in early spring, it's early April at the moment, it's, well, that looks like a lovely day, it's actually quite cold out. These just keep your hands lovely, toasty and warm. They've got double stitching and protection on the palms if you do come off. They don't have any knuckle protection though or anything like that, so I don't know how protected they are in that degree, but I have trust in them, and on a bike like this 125, absolutely fine. And the great news is they're really good value for money. These come in at £28.99, so they ain't going to break the bank.
What else is there? Oh, my Blower HT winter pull. It's like wearing a sleeping bag. I love this thing. That'll cost you £259. Again, links below if you're interested. After that, trousers. These are my Oxford original approved jeans. I've talked about these a lot before, and you know, I wear them all the time just as normal jeans. They've got all the right approvals. They're great value. They're actually more protective than leather trousers. I fully recommend them. Those are £107.97, and these are the slim fit in black. And then last but not least, don't know if you can see that, my boots. I've now put a big boot print on the seat. These are my TCX Mood Gore-Tex boots. Again, I wear these pretty much day to day. They're like obviously street style, perfect for a commuter bike like this. They're waterproof, hence, you know, Gore-Tex, and these come in at £143.98. I've had these now for about 2 or 3 years. You can see they're looking pretty worn, but they're going strong. Might have to think about replacing them soon, but I do recommend those if you're in the market for that sort of boot. Alrighty, that's it. As I say, links to that lot below. Hope that was of interest. Speak to you soon.
Okay, here we are then in the station car park at let's do it again. Where are we? Wendover, that's the one.